Hey y'all, happy Sunday and welcome to this week's live Q&A session. This is the portion of the show where we allow YouTube to send out notifications that we're going live. If you're watching this live Q&A on replay, please scrub ahead until this graphic disappears and the actual show begins. If you're watching live and you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and put them in the live chat. But for now, grab a beverage, sit back, and relax while the countdown timer does its thing. Then we'll get started. Howdy, howdy. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. This is a new audio setup, so please let me know. Is my audio okay? Am I doing all right? Getting good grades? future so bright, gotta wear shades, that kind of thing. I'm going to assume everything's fine until I see anything out in the chat that would say otherwise. You'll notice I have no headset. Okay, Steve says sounds good. Maurice says sounds great. Jeff says a little low on audio. Turn your volume up. Okay. Sounds good, everybody is saying. John's saying it's very low. Um, what I had to do was I had to go back to my podcast mic that I use, or used to use, because the headset started having issues. I don't know if there's a problem or what with the headset. This mic is very directional, and I'm that far away from it, you can't see it. But I don't have a preamp on this. It's an XLR mic that will also plug in USB. I need to get my XLR. I need to get an XLR preamp for this. That's coming soon. I've already got it picked out. I just got to pull the trigger on it, but that'll have to happen after payday. That's cool. So it sounds okay. It'll pass. Welcome. This was going to be an open Q&A, but I got reminded of a couple of things that I was going to talk about. We're going to get into that pretty soon. If this is your first time here, please note that I have subscribers mode turned on. That means you have to be a subscriber for at least one day before you can participate in the chat. I had to do that because we had bots and a whole bunch of other people getting in trying to disrupt the chat, try to derail the live stream, and that's no fun for anybody. So by turning on subscribers only mode, that eliminated that mess. So if you want to participate in the chat, subscribe to my channel, and we can take care of it next week. So we're going to get into those two topics. We're going to do a little bit in job setup with scaling, and we're going to talk about the tool database. But first, I want to talk to you a little bit about Steve over at Harneal Media. Now, I've been singing Steve's praises for a very long time, and I've been doing it for a reason. That's because he's damn good at what he does, plain and simple. He's extremely competitively priced. You'll wonder how he does everything he does so cheaply after a bit. And what can I say? If you're even toying with the idea of a website, maybe you got products or services that you want to advertise to the public at large, and you just want that little bit more legitimacy added to your business, there's no better way to do it than with a website. And Harneal Media is the only company I will refer people to. I've been using them for years. Steve is just amazing. You got a question, he's got an answer. You got a problem, he's got a fix. You want to set up something special on your website, he's got you covered. He's been working with me over the last couple of weeks to set something up that I have going for my channel members, and it's working smoothly. I mean, everything is flowing nicely as I would expect it to. And that's the kind of service you get with Harneal Media. It's 100% personalized service. When you working with Harneal Media, you're working with Steve and not some nameless, faceless person in a call center somewhere. So if you're even toying with the idea, maybe it's just a faraway dream, go ahead and get a hold of Steve. Just go to harnealmedia.com and click that Contact Us button. He'll talk to you. He'll work with you. If you know what you're doing or a seasoned veteran with a website, he'll take care of the back end and let you go. If you're like me and have no idea what you're doing, he'll work with you. He'll help you set things up and help you get it operating. So do yourself a favor. Head over to harnealmedia.com. There's a link to Harneal Media in the description of this live stream and every other live stream and video on this channel. And it's that way for a reason. So, Harneal Media, for your website needs, whatever they may be. Thank you very much, Steve, for everything that you've done. And I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things I got floating in the back of my brain later on. That's for later, though. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Steve is the real deal. He is. He is the real deal. Let's see here. Wondering if Mark has an alpha version yet. Don't know what that is. Don't know. Maybe some things are better left unsaid. Well, anyhow, let's get into it. I had a question a couple of weeks ago about something that's in job setup in VCarve and Aspire and what have you. Let's go ahead and bring that up, spotlight that right now. And that is over here in job setup, there is this little area down here, design scaling, scale design with job size. And the answer to this is, it's actually kind of simple. If, like this example right here, I've got nothing out here. I'm just setting up the job. It doesn't really have any effect at all. It's only later on, after you've got some designs out here that you're playing with. I use a star just simply because it's easy. And I'll center that up. Everything is cool. I've got a design. Everything is great. Now, I need to change the size of this design. Right now, it's 12 by 12. Well, I need to do this 6 by 6. So I need to reduce the size. I can go back over here into Job Setup. I can click Scale Design with Job Size. And I come over here and I change it to 6 by 6. And it scales the design along with the material. So I click OK. I can check out the size of this. I should have done this before. And now the largest size is the width. It's 3.8. Okay. Then another job comes along and I need this to be 18 by 18. Scale design with job size, and you saw it just scale up right there. And now the star is 11.4 at its widest dimension. So this will automatically scale your design along with the job size, just by making sure that that check mark is selected when you go to change the material size. Now, currently there is no way, for instance, if I need this star to be a specific size, currently there's no way to know how big you're making the design. You can only adjust it and scale it with your material size. Now, I'm sure you math wizards out there will figure out a formula that would let you know exactly how big you have to increase your material to get this from one size to another. I'm sure you math guys will come up with it, but that is above my pay grade. If you do, let me know. So that's what that does. Now, let me get rid of this. And we'll bring in some clip art because the question becomes, let's go with animals here, and then we're going to go with let's go with the Vectric eagle, which is always in the middle of somebody's design. This thing was ripped off and turned into an STL years ago. Now, what size is it? Let's see what size it is. It is, the biggest dimension is the width, and it is 12. Let's make it 12 even. All right, so we're good. It is 12 inches wide. Close. And now I'm going to get into component properties. And we can see right now the shape height is 1.03 inches. Rich says, "What? No Wally?" This is VCarve Pro. There is no Wally Gator in VCarve Pro. That's an Aspire clip art. Sorry, Rich. Sorry to disappoint. Okay, so that is what we've got there. 1.03 inches thick. So the question becomes, when you scale this, will it change the thickness of your 3D model? So let's go over here and find out. We're going to scale this down now to, let's make this piece 8 inches by 8 inches, and we're going to scale the design with job size. Now it scaled the X and Y. Okay. Now let's go into, whoops, select the component mark, go into properties, and now it's 0.45. So the answer is yes. If you scale your clip art or 3D or STL or 3D, whatever your 3D model is, if you auto scale it, let's close that, go back over to the design tab. If you scale it using this, when you change the size of your material, it will scale it in X, Y, and Z. Now, again, there is no way to enter a specific size you want for the design or the component in this case. It all goes by the material size and scales the artwork, whatever you have out here along with it. So it's a pretty cool feature that doesn't really get talked about much. But in those cases where you have something that something that you make quite often, and the size of the design just changes. Now that brings up another good point. Let's add another sheet. So go up here to the sheets, drop down, and we're going to add a new sheet. And I'll just call it sheet 2. Okay, so we come out here and we've got sheet 2. It's blank, it's empty. Okay, so the question comes, can I make 2 or 3 different versions? Can I make 2 or 3 different versions of this artwork and keep them on separate sheets? The answer is yeah. So we got our eagle selected. We'll right click, copy to sheet 2. So now we have it on both sheets. So I'm going to go into sheet 2, make it active, and I'm going to come down here into my sheets tab, make sure I have sheet 2 selected, and I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to make this 12 inches by 12 inches, and I'm going to scale the design with the job size, and you saw it just increase. Okay. Back to my design tab, and now I have two different sizes of the same design that I can cut either one. I can create tool paths for each one and save that with my design, which really makes this kind of thing come in handy if you offer, say, 2 or 3 different sizes of, in this case, the 3D carve, or maybe address signs, or something else. I mean, if you do engraving on cutting boards, for example, you want to engrave a name or a logo, you can now have 2 or 3 sizes of the same thing and adjust those sizes automatically. Just real quick, real easy. Marie over at Acrylic Design says that's really helpful because I recently made 2 sizes of the same STL. Yeah. Yeah. Butch Miller is asking, could you make multiples on the same sheet that are different size? You could, just like anything else. The only thing this does is it automatically resizes the design along with the material size. So. Maria's asking, what's the difference between sheets and layers? I still get confused. Layers are different portions of the same design on the same piece of material. A sheet is like a completely different piece of material. That's the best way to think of it. In this case, I've got an 8-inch by 8-inch piece of MDF that I'm going to carve an eagle to, and I have a 12-inch by 12-inch piece that I'm going to carve the eagle into. I have 2 different pieces of material, but I can use the same file to save it. That's the difference. Layers are, my eagle is on one layer, and then I have some geometry out here that are on another layer. When you're talking about layers, you're talking about all on the same design on the same piece of material. A sheet is like a totally different piece of material. Okay? Now, the next question we had, does anybody have any questions on that? Or is that a little, not quite as murky? Basically, all it is, it doesn't do anything when you're first setting up a file. All it is a way to scale that design if you come in and change the job size up here. So you don't have to go back, go through, and resize everything. If you've got 22 elements out here, you don't have to go back and resize each of those elements. You just click that and it scales everything. So layers are only if I want to add another model to the same design. You can use it if you want to add another model, or you could use it if you wanted more geometry. For example, I want, let's see here. What do I want? I want to draw a vector around this component for a boundary. That's my machining boundary. And now I want a rectangle. See, what have I got here? I've got 12 by 12. I want a rectangle on my X0, Y0 with square corners. And I want the width to be 11. And I want the height to be 11. And that's going to be my profile cutout. And I want my eagle on layer 1, but now I want my profile to be on a separate layer. So I will move that to a new layer. We'll call that layer 2, and I'll change the color. I'll make it blue. And I don't want it to be active. I just want it to be visible. Click OK. Now, this is on a separate layer from these two. So if I want to work on this, but I don't want to work on the eagle or the vector around the eagle, I can come up here to my layer manager, click on it to make it the active layer, then turn off my eagle, and all I'm working on is this. It allows you to separate everything so that when you're working on one, you're only working on that one. So, hope that helps. Go back, turn both layers on, make layer 2 the active layer. Layer 1 the active layer. Now, I missed a couple of projects. Toolpaths would save independently as it's on a different sheet, right? They wouldn't scale themselves. Right. It only scales the geometry. It will not scale your toolpaths. But that's easy. Once you have scaled the geometry, you would go in and recalculate the toolpaths. And that's as simple as once the geometry is changed, right here, recalculate all toolpaths. And it'll just boom, 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 get them all. So, I've got no toolpaths created yet, so that is not helpful. Let's see here. John says, couldn't you copy the STL from sheet 1 and copy to sheet 2 and have it resize it the XYZ as long as the material is large enough? Yes, you could. Yes, you could. You can copy the STL from sheet 1 to sheet 2 and have it resize the XYZ. I don't know if it'll automatically do that. I'm not sure. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You would have to resize it. And that's why I made the sheet, when I created sheet 2, I made it the same size as sheet 1. Then copied everything over. Then I went back and auto-scaled it to make it larger. So all of the artwork was on the second sheet before I made that, before I scaled it up. So if I already had another sheet, let's do that. Let's make another sheet. Add a new sheet, sheet 3. It's the same size as sheet 1 because that's the sheet that I had active when I made sheet 3. So we got sheet 3 now. I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to make it 24 by 24. So it's even larger. There's nothing on this sheet. Click OK. Now if I go back to sheet 1, select, copy to sheet 3, it doesn't auto-scale it. It stays the same size. So you would need to create the new sheet, copy the artwork over, then auto-scale when you upscale your sheet size. So it has to be done before you auto-scale that up. So sheet 2 is your backup. It can be a backup. It's It's more used, think of it this way. It's a way of, man, it's a way of, it is just a separate piece of material, but it's also a way of making parts. For instance, if you go back and you look at the little walnut rack that I made, that tea shelf I called it, that little walnut rack that I made for Linda, it had 6 or 7 parts that needed to be machined. I had a back that had a neat shape to it. The sides each had a shape to them. They had a dado in them. They had a bunch of different things. I was able to create a separate sheet for all those parts, but keep it all in the same file. So I didn't have a file for the back, and then a file for the left side, then a file for the right side, then a file for the front rail, then a file for each of the shells. I had them all on separate sheets, all in the same file. So I didn't want to change the size, just wanted different sizes on one sheet. Yes, you could have different sizes on one sheet. That doesn't enter into any of this. So you could do, let me go into sheet 2 and copy to sheet. Hello. What's going on here? Select. Copy to sheet 3. There we go. I didn't have it selected. So now I've got both sizes. Go to this here and I'll move it. The thing is, it's going to place it in reference to the bottom left corner exactly the way you have it placed on your sheet. So you can have various different sizes on one sheet. That's up to you. That doesn't have anything to do with auto scaling. You can put as many copies of this on as you want. So hold down Control, and let's make that one. Let's resize that. Let's make that one 9 inches wide. And we're going to take this one, hold down Control, move it up here, and we're going to make this one 10 inches wide. You can have as many copies and as many sizes on a single sheet as you want. That doesn't have anything to do with this. Now, if I take this sheet, now I'm going to have to do it sheet by sheet. So the problem I was having, Jack, was I didn't select the model. It wasn't a slow PC. This was my primary design computer up until about a month and a half ago. So it's more computer than I need out here. Way more than I need. Okay, now if I come over here into sheet 3 and select it, and let's edit this sheet, and I auto scale design with the job size, and I make this 36 by 36, it auto scaled all of my models. So now this model is no longer the same size as that. This model is no longer the same size as that. This we had made 10 inches wide. Let's go back over to Design tab. It's now 15 inches wide. And it will, and oops, it is awesome. And it will automatically resize the Z for each model. Yes. Copying is relative to your XY datum in the original setup. Yes, it's it stays proportional based on your XY0. So your XY datum position rather. Alrighty. Let's see. The next question was about the tool database. If everybody is clear on this. Basically, this has no effect when you're first creating a project. It only has an effect if you decide you need to scale up or scale down the entire job. So, now, I see Kurt has set something here that is true. It will automatically size the Z for each model. If you're talking about, in this instance, set selected object size, by default, auto scale Z is selected. So if I change the size of this model, it's also going to scale the Z when I change the X width or the Y height. It's also going to automatically scale the Z. So yes, if you don't want it to scale the Z, say you've got a 3/4 inch thick piece of material and this is already 5/8 of an inch thick, you don't want to cut it any deeper, but you want to change the size, make it a little bit larger, you uncheck that auto scale Z. And it will not change your Z thickness, but it will change any other dimension that you change here. But by default, auto scale Z is turned on. You have to turn that off. So, that's the discussion on auto scaling. Next was about the tool database. And there were a couple of questions that were being asked. One of them was tools that were grayed out. Grayed out tools, if you get into, for instance, I'm looking, I don't have any, yes, I do have grayed out tools. I've got a couple of grayed out tools here, an Acme thread mill and a couple of other thread mills. We can look here and see if there are some others. Yeah, I've got a couple of engraving bits that are grayed out down here. You can barely see the difference in color between this engraving bit and that engraving bit, for instance. Let me look here. I've got another drill. So I've got a few that are grayed out. And all that simply means is no data has been defined for that bit. Not yet. But this has a couple of stipulations. There are a couple of things that you need to look at before you start trying to create settings for this. Number one is that you're in the correct machine. You have the ability. I had one machine set up for my Gatton CNC, and I have another machine set up for my Avid. So I need to make sure that I'm in the right machine. Excuse me. About blew a head gasket with that sneeze there. Sorry. Okay, the other thing to look at, if I'm sure that I'm in the right machine, I need to make sure that I'm working with the right material. Right now I'm in hardwoods. But if I go to, say, acrylic, there are a lot of tools that are grayed out, simply because I've never populated the data for that tool. So if I look, I've got a 1/8 inch, a 3/8, 1/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch bit set up for acrylic, but don't have any of these other sizes set up. So if I want to use my 16th inch end mill, and I click on it, I see that I have some of the data populated in it. Here is my machine. I have data that's sitting in hardwood. So I can copy that. I can copy that data. Boom. Now, these are the cutting parameters for hardwood. Are they going to be the same for acrylic? They might be. Let's look at spindle RPMs. I'm going to bring that down to 12,000. And because it's a 16th of an inch bit, that's the speeds I'm going to run. I'm going to try that and see how that works for my this small bit in acrylic. So I'm going to apply that information. As soon as I applied it, that bit is no longer grayed out. Okay? So that's a couple of things to check for. If you've got bits that are grayed out, make sure you're using the right machine and make sure you're in the right material. I have a few times been calculating tool paths and thought something was wrong, and I looked up and, oh crap, I'm in the wrong material. I should have been working in hardwood. And the settings are different. So, now Marie has a question here. Since we're looking at this, can you show how to save the same tool but for a different machine? Can I save settings for the same tool, for example, in my Maverick and my Shark? Yes, ma'am, you certainly can. All you'll do is you'll treat it like two separate machines, but you'll treat it just like any other database entry. I'll give you an example. We're in hardwoods now for my Avid CNC. Let's look at the 1/4 inch end mill. Now, my Gatton CNC, on the other hand, if I load that machine, it's a different setup. I have a spindle speed of 18,000, a feed rate, and a plunge rate. That was appropriate for this machine. But you'll notice I have a few tools that are grayed out. I didn't use them with the Gatton CNC. I didn't own these tools. You know? So now I flip back up here and I go to my Avid and all those tools are populated. So Marie, to answer to your question, you would change machines here. And this is a very, very common use for this. And in fact, it's the reason Vectric added the ability to change machines, because a lot of people have two different machines. And one may be stronger than the other. Now, your Maverick is going to be a lot stronger, a lot more rigid than your Shark. So you can run things faster on your Maverick than you can on that Shark. You can also run a deeper pass depth just simply because it's more rigid and it can handle that much pressure. So you would just simply select the machine here and then run whatever settings you normally run. And they are separate for each machine. Now, let's go back over to the Gatton CNC. And I didn't own a lot of these bits when I ran the Gatton CNC. So let's look at this 15-degree V-bit. 1/8 inch diameter, I have no information populated. But I do have it for the Avid. Now I know that I'm going to have to change some of this data. So I can go ahead and copy over the data from the Avid machine. And now I can make my adjustments from there. I can speed up or slow down the spindle. Because it's the Gatton CNC, I was using a Porter cable router. Okay. So I didn't have adjustable spindle speeds. The software didn't control the speed of the router, so the spindle speed didn't matter at all. I didn't use it until I got the Avid. Also, the tool number down here didn't matter because I ran each tool path separately and calculated them separately. So now that I've got this info from the Avid, I'm looking at it. I can see on the Gatton CNC, I can run these same settings and it won't hurt. I can apply, and now that bit is populated. The information is populated, and that bit's no longer grayed out. Marie's asking, does the spindle speed even matter on my Shark? If you're running a router on that Shark, like a Makita router or a DeWalt router or something like that, the spindle speed is not going to matter. Not going to matter at all because it's not controlled by the software. The spindle speed for your Maverick does mean something. So whoops, it's a Bosch router. Okay, same thing. The brand of router is irrelevant here. It's not controlled by the software, so the spindle speed doesn't matter. Now, you can use it for reference. If you can adjust, if your Bosch router is variable speed, and you know what the RPMs of those settings, you know what that reference is. You can say, 3 is 16,000 RPM. You can set 16,000 RPM in there just for your reference, and then adjust your feed and plunge to get the proper chip load for that speed. Or if you don't care about chip load, much like me, just run it until you get run it. If you get a good result, that's all that's necessary. Now here's a good idea. Laser 314 says I need to keep a 3x5 index card with the Makita to RPM conversion. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. You know. All right, let's see here. Gilroy Kilroy says, how do you create a new group in the top spot? I can't seem to move one there. It always goes into the first group and not above it. Okay, let's see here. We want to create a new group. Are you talking about a new material, or are you talking about a new class of tools? Like I have thread milling up here, then end mills, ball nose, form tools. What I was thinking about doing was making a separate category for roundover bits. Let me go back into my Avid, and I think I want to make a new class, a new folder for roundover bits. A new group, a new class of tools. Okay, let's work up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select Imperial Tools. All right. So I've got Imperial Tools selected. Now I'm going to add a group. And I'm going to click on that. And right there it says New Group. Now I can change this group's name to Roundover. Click Apply. And I've now got a new group called Roundover. So, above Imperial. It will not go above Imperial, I don't think. I don't think I can. Yes, right there. Just drag and drop. Put it above Imperial, same level. There you go. Just drag and drop. So are you talking, Jeff, about, you said EX tools. Are you talking about for a automatic tool changer? Because if so, that's real easy to do. Okay, Butch is asking, after making a new group, but you want it someplace else on your list, i.e. below VBits. Okay, that's easy. Drag and drop. So we're going to drag this down. I'm going to use my scroll wheel here, and I'm going to put it right there above Form Tools and right there below VBits. Now to populate that, I just one at a time drag. Oops. Yeah, right there. Okay, now that's in, come on, goes in that category. I say it goes in that category. Yeah, wise guy. Okay. See this here. I've got to edit this. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Tool paths, tool database. Now, down here. Why is it not going into this category? Why is this not moving into the new group? Why are you not going in there? Because it's live. Yes, exactly. That's why it's not working, is because I'm live. Okay. Exactly, Bob, not that button. Now, I don't get it. Why is this not going in there? Let's see here. Roundover is very well, but it's not saying what group it's in. I know it's under Form Tools. I want it to be under Roundover. That doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. Add a tool. No, I want to add this tool. Why is there a 3-inch ball nose? Okay, now I've got the round. Why the devil is there a 3-inch ball nose? That makes no sense. That makes 0 sense. Oh, because I clicked add a tool to that group. That's why. Well, now I can delete that tool from that group by moving it to the trash can. Yes. Boom. Okay, that's what it is. You have to add a tool to the group first. Then you can start dragging and dropping tools into the group. Take all my roundover bits and put them there. I had to add a tool first. Now I can organize them. This one goes down there. Okay, there we go. 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, 3/8, and that is what? That would be 1/8 inch, 5/32, 3/16. Okay. So, yes. So, group needs to be expanded first. Yes, I had to add a tool to the group, and it just threw in a 3-inch ball nose. My God, if there's gonna be a problem, I'm gonna find it. Ellen says, deleting tools is that easy. Yes, ma'am, it is just that easy. Select the tool, click the garbage can. It'll verify. Now, when you make changes like this to your tool database, whether you've got a bit selected out here or not, whether your database is entirely populated or not, you owe it to yourself, especially if you have multiple, if you have the software installed on multiple computers. Like I have it in here. I have it in 2 computers in the house. You owe it to yourself to make sure you are logged in to your V&Co account. You're logged in and upload that tool database to your portal. Okay? I'm going to upload. This will overwrite the last database on the server. Do you wish to continue? Yes. Toolbase database has been uploaded to the server. Now, next time I go into the house and get on that computer, I'm going to have the roundover. I have to download it. I'm going to get a notification that my tool database in the house is out of date. Do I want to download the new database? I'm going to click yes, and it's going to download. And then I'll have my roundover bits in a separate folder. If you do a lot of specific work with specific tools, like I've got 4 roundover bits here, that warrants its own category. If I get another couple of core box bits or another couple of bowl and tray bits, I'll put them in their own category. So, okay. So I don't know if that answered the question about tools that are grayed out or not. But generally speaking, what that means is in one of your machines here, or one of your materials here, you have that bit entered. But you don't have all of the info populated on it. Now, of course, I can't find one. There we go. You don't have all the information populated for it. Now, this engraving bit, I have settings set in the Gatton CNC, but I've never brought them over. So I don't have this bit anymore. It broke, it went away, so I'm not going to worry about it. I can delete it, but about the time I delete it, I'll decide that I need to order one, so I'm not going to get rid of it. Now, another question that came up about the tool database was I had mentioned before um, not so much keeping a backup of my tool database, but using older versions of the software to um, host other tool databases. I have a quick question here coming in from Marie. I'll go back to the tool database here. Can we add more materials? Yes, ma'am, you can. The way to, if you look in my list, I've added rotary hardwood. These are for specifically for my rotary axis. I also made another category for maple because I used a lot of maple, and settings are different, I find, for some maple. I got another one for MDF, hardwood, favorites, acrylic. If you look over here off to the right, there's the open material management dialog. Same with over here on the machines. That's the machine management dialog. If I click here, I've got, right now I'm in hardwood, so it's telling me that's the material. Right here, I can add a new material and activate it. So if I click on this, my new material name is going to be, let's say, foam. I'm going to use sign foam. And we'll click apply. So now I have a new material. Click OK. And there we go. Now none of my tools are populated because I have not imported any tools into this new material. I've got nothing. Now there are a bunch. I have these tools, 1/4 inch 2-flute end mill. It's in my favorites. It's also in hardwood. It's also in rotary hardwood. I'm going to copy the settings out of hardwood for this tool. Copy. And now I can go in and I can change my pass depth. I can change my step over. I can change my spindle speed and feeds and speeds and all that and apply it to that bit. And now I've got my first bit populated. I go up here and I look, foam has been added to my list. But now I need to update my database again because I've just added a whole new category. So, let's see. So yes, you can add more materials. 8 Center says, so you'll only get one server slot for storing the databases. You can't save different ones for different machines. It does the entire thing. It doesn't matter which machine you're using. It uploads everything. So any modification you make for either machine, it all gets uploaded. If there was a choice of material box in the tool info page, you wouldn't have to go back to the tool tree. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Eighth Center says, about mitts, Mark, I didn't really notice any difference when using a nose cone and not using a nose cone in my diamond drag stuff. No idea which is better for accuracy or what you have. It doesn't really have anything to do with accuracy. The nose cone is basically just there to put downward pressure on whatever it is you're engraving. So it's, I'm using my hands like you can see me here. Um, it's something that is mounted either around or just in front of or just behind the actual diamond drag bit. And this is on specialty engraving machines. And it's there to put downward pressure on the material so that when the bit engraves, it's flat, firm against the work table, the spoil board, without relying on the pressure from the diamond drag bit, if that makes any sense. If that makes any sense at all. So if you don't actually have a nose cone on your machine, your best bet is to not click that. Let's see. The other use, let me go back into my hardwood here. Boop. So I don't screw that up. We were talking about using older versions and storing tool databases in older versions. I don't know what versions I have on this computer, so let me look. Okay, I got 12.0 and 12.5. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load Spire 12.5 or 12.0. And I'm going to drag it over here so you can see it. And I need to sign in. And it's telling me version 12.505 is available. That's nice to know. Okay, so I'm going to sign in and log in. I'm going to grant access. Now I'm signed in. Okay, that's cool. All right, so I go over here to the tool database. This database is out of date. Would you like to update? No, I wouldn't. Now you notice I'm in hardwood. You'll also notice that all my thread mills are populated. I did not populate these for my Avid in hardwood in version 12.5. But let's say I go to, let's do this. Let me open a new tab. Let's go over here and let's go to Tools Today. Tools Today. And if you didn't know, a lot of these companies have free files, all kinds of nifty stuff in here. All right. So you can download all kinds of neat things. Anyway, we're going to go into Bits, Blade, and Tooling. Let's look at their Spectra bits. Let's just pick one at random. And we're going to go down here and we're going to look for the database, the tool database. No, I don't want 10% off by reading your newsletters and getting your downloads. There it is. Here we have the Vectric tool file. The thing about it is, oh, wait a minute. Did they change it? Let's do this. I'm going to put this on just put this on my desktop. Maybe they did change it. Okay. Then we're going to show it in the folder. It is a tool file just for this bit. Oh, I am so glad that they did this. What they used to do was if you went and downloaded this Vectric tool file, what you got was their entire tool database, which was a couple of hundred bits. I am so glad that they went back to you download the tool file for the bit you have. That was my reason for keeping the old version, was instead of, nope, that's wrong. I didn't mean to do that. Bonk. Instead of for lack of a better term, polluting the tool database on the active version that I'm using, in this case 12.505, rather than loading this up with every tool that Tools Today sells, I would put that in the old version in that tool database. And then go in and export a tool file for the tools I actually have. So that was my reason for using the old version as a backup, is it was a way of downloading these huge tool databases. Because I know, let's see, does Whiteside still do that? Let me see, because I see Amana is no longer doing it. Thank you, Tools Today. Let me see if Whiteside is still doing that. No, it wasn't Whiteside. It was Magnate. And there we go. And let's look at a... go to magnate.net. Legacy Shop Notes. Valuable information in here. Very valuable information in here. Some of it is machine specific, but a lot of it isn't. Very cool information in here. Go to the flag box there. There's some neat information in here. Okay? Just in case you didn't know that. Magnate has partnered with Legacy. Those of you with a Maverick, you know all about this. Let's see here. Legacy Woodworking, Magnate Router Bits and Accessories. There we go. We want, I want to look at an O-flute bit. And I want an O-flute for plastics and aluminum. There we go. Boom, let's go with that. And we're going to look at this one here. Now let's see, where is their database? Oh, there is no download data for this tool? Wow. I'm dying live. Okay, there we go. Last I checked, IDC only has a full database download. Let's go to IDC. IDC. Woodcraft. And let's look at this 150-degree V-groove bit. And where is the tool database, specs and settings? For Vectric Fusion 3, okay, let's get the database here. And the Vectric tool database. This tool database is for, put it in my downloads folder, their entire database, like I was talking about. Okay. Let's see. We're going to show it in the folder. Now I'm going to go to my old version of Aspire and go to Toolpaths, Tool Database. No, but thank you for asking. Now I want to import a tool database. I'll go to Downloads. There it is. And click Open. How would you like to import the tools? Let's merge without overwriting. Boom. So it's now merged. And we're going to go find it. There it is. IDC Performance CNC bits. We're not going to look at metric tools. We're going to look at Imperial. Now I've got every single bit that IDC sells, whether I own this bit or not. So look at downcut end mills. I don't have any of his downcut end mills. I do have his roughing bits. I do have it. There we go. Roughing end mills. I've got the beast. Okay. So I've got the beast here. I own that bit. But I don't want to put all of these other tools that I don't necessarily own into my tool database. I just want this one. So I've got it selected. I've got it brought up. Export the selected tool / group. I just want to export this one tool. So I'm going to call it Beast 0.25 inch DIA, short for diameter. And put it in my downloads folder. Good place as any. So I've just now exported that tool file. Hello. Oh, I gotta close that. Now I can come over here into VCarve Pro and I'm going to import a tool database. And I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and there is that Beast 1/4 inch diameter V-bit database. Open. I'm going to merge it. Now I got to find it. I think it's down below here. There's the Beast roughing end mill, upcut. I'm going to drag it up. Come on. And I'm going to put it with my end mills. Right there. So it's right there with my other 1/4 inch end mill. So now I haven't clogged up this database by having this entire database. Now, to his credit, Garrett's tool database is not all that big. It's big. He offers a lot of bits, but it's not huge. The old Amana tool database was a behemoth. It was a behemoth. It would take, you would click on, you go tool paths, tool database, and you would wait up to a full minute for it to load, because it was a lot of tools, a lot of settings, a lot of everything it needed to load. That's when I started saying, well, instead of doing that, let me put it in an old version and keep it there. That way when I got a new bit, I could go over and export that tool file, then bring it in. That one tool that I own, not the 500 that I don't own. Okay, now that the Beast is imported, no, I didn't put it in this. This is the old version. Okay, yeah, it's down here. So, all right. So that was the reason for using an old version. So now, I've already got that down here, my 1/4 inch roughing bit, the Beast. I don't need this in here. It's a duplicate. So, yep, don't need it. I've already got it right here. Something a lot of people don't know or understand is you can actually put a link in the notes down here. And this is real handy. If I break this bit or it wears out, I can click this link. Hello. Open in the default web browser. How come you haven't opened? How come you didn't open? Well, I just told a lie. Okay. Copy. And paste. For some reason, it did not open up, and it's supposed to. Open in default web. Oh, control click. Mark, read the thing. Hold down control, click it, and it opened in the web browser. There we go. Read the ding dong thing. Mark, read it. Wow. Okay. Can you copy a tool directly from a download folder? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You don't have to place it anywhere special. You don't have to place it anywhere special. Now, you asked earlier, is it better? Let me see. Wow, you asked a question up here, Marie, and I'm sorry I didn't get to it exactly. And now I can't find. There it is. Is it better to organize tools by category, i.e. VBits, as opposed to company names such as IDC, for example? That is 100% up to you. If you want to have a category for IDC bits and a category for Amana bits and a category for Jenny bits, I'm sure they'd love it. That's up to you. If it's convenient for you to list it that way, then go for it. There is no right or wrong when it comes to that. I tend to use the category for like all my end mills here, all my ball nose here, all my V bits. I did make a new category for tapered ball nose because I started getting quite a few. And another one for surfacing bits. That's 100% up to you. If it's more convenient for you to use Garrett's bits and keep them in an IDC category, that's great. I am not wedded to any brand. Okay. So a 1/4 inch end mill to me doesn't matter if it's Bosch, Amana, CMT, Spee Tool, IDC. It doesn't matter. To me, a 1/4 inch two flute end mill is a 1/4 inch two flute end mill. It just doesn't matter. So there it is. I keep it there, and it doesn't matter whose bit it is. It doesn't matter if it's upcut or downcut because the speeds and feeds are the same. So, so far it's working for me to list by vendor name, but it is getting overwhelming. Yeah, that's going to happen. You don't realize how many bits you own until you organize them. Now, what I do, Marie, you say I could include the vendor name, IDC, and the name of the bit. You'll notice I don't have a vendor name here at all. But if I go down here, for example, select that V-bit. I got a Bosch 9/16 inch diameter 90-degree V-bit from Lowe's. And that's what I use. I put it in the notes. I put all that in the notes. Let's look at my V-bits here. I got a, there it is, the Amana Tool 456 11K. that V bit, that 15-degree V bit. This one is top secret. You can't know. This one is a 6 millimeter Chinese bit that I got. I put it in here because I can find it. It's actually a metric bit. Then I've got 30-degree V bits here. RIP Precision Tool 30-degree. The 30-degree Groovy Jenny. So it just I do put that stuff in the notes. Okay. Now Kurt says I do back up the database before I do changes. I don't. I do it after I do the changes. I do it after I do the changes because I haven't changed anything. I haven't done anything. And if I screw something up here with one bit, I can delete it. So let's see here. What are some ways to organize bits in the shop lately? I'm hunt and peck to find the one I need. Welcome to the club. I am not the guy to ask about that. Folks, help a sister out. If you've got tips for Marie on how to organize her bits in the shop, throw them in the chat simply because I don't know. Let's see here. Now, we had a question from 8th Center about something different. Is there a way in Vectric yet to create layered colored materials like those HDPE color sheets? And I said, kind of. What they came out with, let me close this. What they came out with in their preview here is you have surface color. You can have a material color. Let's put something out here first. Let me close this. Bonk. Close this, and I'm going to get rid of all of these mopes. Delete. You too. Don't want to pay the rent? Get out. And always trust your car to the man that wears the star. And we'll center you up. And here we go. Now, for instance, like the HDPE sheets that you're talking about, we'll select this, and I'm just going to do a profile tool path. That's too much. I want to carve 0.625. And I'm not going to use an end mill. I'm going to use my 90-degree V-bit. Bonk. Select. I'm going to cut on the vector. And that's all I'm going to do. And we'll calculate. All right. Now, the material color on this is Canadian maple. But I'm going to set a surface color of green. Okay? Now I'm going to run this toolpath, preview selected toolpath, and what is showing through that surface color is the Canadian maple. So, let me go back here, and I'm going to change Canadian maple to, I'm going to use a solid color. And the color I'm going to use is white. There, that way you can see that a little bit better. So you can set the material color to say white. And if the surface color of the HDPE is green or blue or what have you, you can set the surface color to that, and then when you preview the tool path, like in this case, it carved through the green to get to the white. So here in the US, I don't know if you have it over there in the UK or not, 8th Center. Over here, we have a product made by King Plastics. It's called Color Core. And that's exactly what this is. It's HDPE with a white center, and then they have um, colored HDPE bonded over the top. It's all melted together, basically. I don't know if it's extruded that way or how they do it. But one surface is like green or blue. The top surface is like green or blue. And I don't know how thick it is. It may be like a 16th of an inch or something like that thick. And then the rest of it is white HDPE. And it's used a lot for outdoor signage because HDPE is basically waterproof. The only problem with HDPE is nothing sticks to it. So it can't be glued or bonded to anything. It's basically got to use mechanical fastening. Yeah, yeah, yes, and that's why they came up with this was simply because there is so many people using color core. And again, you set your material color will be the inside the white HDPE, then your surface color is this, whatever color you decide the surface will be. But this also works like if you're going to cut into, like, say, painted MDF. You're going to paint your MDF green and then carve through it. Then you're fine. You can preview it just like this. And that works great. You can save a preview image to send to a client or what have you. You know, adjust this to a jaunty angle and save preview image and go for it. So, all right. So the long answer to your short question there was yes. All right. Well, that was a long time to spend over there focusing on that. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. We went just a little bit long here. Thank you, folks, for the suggestions. This is the kind of thing I want. I had one suggestion for the tool database. I had one suggestion for the automatic scaling. And then we had the question about the colored surface and carving through it. These are the kinds of things that I want to know about. Again, it's never been about me. All of this has always been about you. So if you've got something that you would like for me to talk about, you've got any kind of a comment or question, put them down in the comment section. I know a lot of you are watching this on replay. Put them down in the a lot of people talking about bits and what have you and bit storage. Kimberly Went, whoops, nope, there it went. Kimberly Went says, careful not to drag a chubby forearm over a bit holder. That's been my issue with a lot of the bit organization solutions mentioned. Anything that requires your bit to be pointed up with the sharp cutting edge towards the top, I don't want nothing to do with it, because basically what you have is a carbide porcupine just waiting for you to gouge yourself on it. And believe me, these bits bite, and they bite hard, and they just do not care. So, yeah, it's I don't want anything that leaves that bit pointed up with the sharp cutter edge pointed up. Not happening. No. So, yes. Anyway, keep these kinds of suggestions and these topic questions coming, because that's where I get my ideas for this. As referred to earlier in the chat, my battle with shingles does continue. I'm getting the hand is getting better, but it's not there yet. I tried to record a video the other day, and it was like Laurel teaches Hardy how to use a computer mouse. It ain't working. So it's yeah. Keep your tetanus shot currents. That should be That should be for all of us. That should be for all of us no matter what, because we're working with metals that can bite. So, yeah, we should be keeping our tetanus vaccinations up. Anyway, channel members, tomorrow it's going to be kind of a hodgepodge. We're going to talk about the super secret Halloween thing. We're also going to talk about, well, I'm not going to go into it. Suffice it to say, channel members, I will see you tomorrow. We got a lot to talk about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, or you would like, you ain't that far away from me, Kimberly. Don't make me come down there. It's an inside joke, folks. If you don't know what I'm talking about, or you want to become a channel member, right below this video panel, you will see a little button that says join. You're not joining anything. Just click that join button, and a video is going to pop up, and it's going to tell you about how to join, if you want to join, and what the perks come in. I need to remake that. You know what? I need to remake that because I've added a couple of things. You also get early access to the videos I publish when I publish one. You also get, we do a Saturday evening Zoom call BS type of a thing where we just get on and talk about everything from barbecue to CNC to laser to stupid driving. I mean, we talk about anything and everything. There's no you got burnt ends on the smoker. Come on down. Holy cow. All right. Sounds like I got a date. So, don't know what I'm going to do next week. That's up to you. Leave me a comment. Leave me a suggestion. Leave me whatever you'd like. Comments, questions. Okay, you had me at burnt ends. Now you're going to throw pork belly in? Fill up the car. I may be making a trip to California. No, I'm not. Hey, baby, she said burnt ends and pork belly. I'm easy, but I'm not cheap. Anyway, I'm going to leave before I get myself in trouble. Y'all have a great, great rest of your Sunday. Thank you for spending part of your Sunday afternoon with me here. Actually, Kimberly, I'm sorry. I've got 2 rib steaks I got to go out and throw on the Weber. Until next week, y'all take care. Go do something cool. Go make some chips. Or if you've already done that, sit down and have a bag of chips. Whatever. You look tired. Take it easy. Relax. Have a great week, y'all.